Hello and welcome back to the Remembering Tuscola webcast. We've got another exciting program for you today. Well, I guess maybe you'll be the judge of that. I'm David Porter. I'm here with Mike Carroll and Bill Englehardt, two of Tuscola's preeminent citizens, historians, and
And
all
exciting too.
all these pictures we're showing from the past, they were there. And, so we'll see how well they remember. So before we get started, anything going on?
Bill, give your announcement.
Oh, yeah, I will. I'll give a plug here. Tonight at the high school baseball game, before the game starts at 4:30, but before that, there will be a recognition of our Tuscum Little League players who are coming to be on the field with the high school varsity players. And the other evening, we had our minor league teams there. And they were there along the first base line and got to do with the starters the Star Spangled Banner, and then they also had talked to the coaches of the high school team. So a little promotion for that. I think that part of it would start a little bit after 4 o'clock this evening, but trying to promote baseball once again in Tuscola like we did years ago when our friend Dave Lohr was in charge of many things and so supportive of baseball here.
And as you know, Dave was a idol of mine. He was my little league coach for many years. He took a year off when I was young, so I took the year off too because I didn't want to play for anybody but Dave.
Well, the
And,
league statistics fell that year.
well, I was not a great athlete, as you guys know, but I was in little league, and by the time I reached my final year, I started hitting the ball a little bit, got moved up from right field to second base, and tried to catch a ball with my mouth one time. That wasn't too good. And
It doesn't work.
Dave took me to the emergency room and was
Did
very.
did they get the ball back?
They got it was missing some of the leather, but they got the ball back. But
Good way to get an impression.
You know, I don't know when Little League started. There's that book I supposedly wrote with Rick McGuire about the history of Little League, and
51, wasn't it?
51. But I remember David, 65 years ago, 66 years ago, Bill and I played again. I remember Bill pitched for, I want to say, the Indians.
Rotary
Indians. I played for the Cardinals, and I remember I had a brand new. I was 12 years old, and I was getting a little cocky, and I bought a brand new bat that was
a little
cocky, and I bought a brand new bat that was painted red. And first game I played with, Bill was pitching. Bill was a fastballer. I caught one and hit a home run in the right center field thing, and my bat got marred. It took the paint off the bat and ruined the bat.
Serves you right.
But Little League was a lot of fun back then. We had 4 teams, and I don't know what they have now, but we had 4 big teams with.
But it grew even more.
Got up to about 6 or how many? 8?
I'm not sure it didn't have 8.
We had a lot. I usually
70s.
played for Monocle's, usually sponsored the team I was on, and that was the best sponsor to have because at the end of the season, you go to Monocle's and eat pizza.
Ralph would buy you a pizza.
There you go.
And I was telling Bill earlier when Dave passed, one of the nicest things anyone has ever done for me, his daughter Cindy, he had kept all the playbooks over the years, and she gave me a playbook that had my name in it from where I had played Little League. And it's one of my most prized possessions.
Yeah. Dave was one of those. Dave's a great guy. Dave was one of those guys that every small town needs, seeing his wife. Dave would just do stuff that you didn't even notice it has to be done. And he's out there running Little League. He's out there running the chains on the football. He's just quietly doing everything, not drawing attention to himself, not wanting any fame.
Little League was, when I was young, was almost exclusively boys. And Dave didn't have any sons of his own.
Yeah.
He had 2 daughters. And he was a great role model.
Yeah. My point is, Dave's one of those guys that are the real heroes of small towns, that the glue that holds them all together. Bill and I are, up there at the top making it happen, but we don't actually do it. That was a joke. That was a joke.
I got the joke.
They're the people that get in your newspaper, Dave, and they're the people that are public office. But then there's the Dave Lowers who just really are the heart and soul of a town.
Yeah.
Dave was it. And when they die, and I've seen this happen before. And a guy like Dave Lower dies, and all of a sudden stuff's not getting done. People go, why wasn't there Little League? Why wasn't there this? Why wasn't there that? Well, you idiot. Had you been paying attention, guys like Dave Lower were doing it, and you didn't even notice it.
Yeah.
Well, and there've been a lot of great guys over the years that I remember. I've written about a lot of them.
Yeah.
Bill McCarty, Bill Huber, people named Bill in particular. I think someone who doesn't get enough credit for what he's done over the years is Duff Hole. He
was very active in baseball.
Very active in baseball, Little League, coached high school, but he also was behind a lot of the improvements at the park.
He wasn't just behind him.
He did them.
He and Drew actually did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They actually worked on them.
If Duff, if you tell Duff you need some help at your house trimming some trees, you'd better be ready to have them all cut down, because this guy, he brings a chainsaw and he likes to work. So you gotta point him to the trees you want down. If you want your house roofed, he can do anything. But there was a time in guys and gals from the 60s and 70s, we were handy. I used to work construction work with Quentin Weber during the summers and Dean Hilligoss. And I don't think I could build my own house. I could come close to build my own house, but Duff and Drew could probably build their own house. There are a lot of guys handy like that. And I don't know if they have manual skills like that anymore.
And they're handy. They've got good tools. They know how to use them, and they're also they're neat freaks. And
yeah, you can.
Duff's worse than Drew.
Duff's. One day I was driving home, and it was about a 40-mile-an-hour wind in the summer. Squall was coming through, and there's Duff on about a 25, 30-foot ladder up there trying to either clean out his gutters or get something his roof. The wind was so high. So the next day I called Drew and I said, Drew, I'm really worried about Duff. What do you mean? I said, I just saw him there down a 25-foot ladder. I said, the guy's going to die. He said, what do you mean? He said, after you saw him, he fell off that ladder. I said, is he okay? He said, yeah, he came over and got me. He said, come over and hold this damn ladder while I get this. So he went back and did it again.
Well,
fearless. He doesn't know the meaning of the word fearless or a lot of other English words.
Well, you know this about Duff, and I'll share it here. He probably won't like it, but I'll do it anyway.
Heck with him.
Heck with him.
He is so particular that in his house, the outlets in your house, they have a little screw. You screw it on. And in his house, every screw head, the slot for the screwdriver is perfectly straight up and down. Every single one of them.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you take your shoes off when you go in his house, by the way. You take your shoes off. Yeah, he's a perfectionist, which I luckily have avoided in my life. I've worked hard to be a slob. Yeah. David, I've worked hard to get to the bottom.
I can do a lot of that work. I just don't want to.
Yeah.
I grew up with it. My dad did a lot of that work.
That's like the guy that said he's a better man than George Washington. He said George Washington could not tell a lie. I can, but I won't. I'm that way with I wished, perfectionist. Doug McCover was another perfectionist, so it must be something about bankers,
I did build my own garage once in Mount Vernon, built a 2-car garage, and my thing was to build it out of recycled and auction materials. So I got done. The appraiser appraised my garage at $20,000. I spent $3,000 building it, and a third of that was in the concrete.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, Becky and I, back in 1990, we bought the old Deaver house. We were going to get married soon, and she said, "Wouldn't that be romantic to buy the Deaver house?" Which, when we were young, that was the prototypical all-American John Kennedy, Jackie Onassis family in Tuscola. And Phil Deaver and Maureen. And Becky goes, wouldn't that be romantic to buy that and fix up? I said, romantic doesn't come to mind. But if you want to do it, and for about a year and a half, we actually plastered walls, not drywall. We actually tore it down to the lathe and actually pulled a big 4-foot screed and plastered it. We peeled paint. Honey, was that romantic looking back on it?
No.
Becky says it was not romantic.
I don't think she agreed with you on that.
So
no
we
romance in that.
We love fixing old houses up.
We loved it.
Yeah, Becky loved
That's
it.
a plural pronoun.
Man,
you just screwed that one up.
I did. Well, I pluralize everything. You still there, David?
I'm here.
Yeah.
Let's get you pictures.
I was going to say it's Wayne Dowd, but I'm not. I don't think it is.
It's not Wayne Dowd, but we know the guy behind him. But
1955.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll help you out. The event is an Elks picnic.
Is that George Lasseter in the back?
You know what?
I don't know who the people are.
I think it's George Lasseter back.
In a way, it kind of looks like George. I knew it. It does, doesn't it? See, that's 70
Talking
years.
about the second guy in the front or the way in the
back?
Yeah.
The second guy in the back looks like George Lasseter, who moved up here with. In fact, George Lasseter came up from Southern Illinois and worked with Bill's dad, Monk, and talked him into coming up to USI.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of these.
That may be him.
We got a lot of these pictures.
Okay.
And it's elk, so they're all drinking beer. But
yeah, the Elks.
The Elks aren't active here anymore, are they? Or are they?
They all died of cirrhosis of the liver.
I don't know where this event was held. It says Tuscola, but I don't know that it's in Tuscola.
You know, I just I don't recognize these folks.
Well, there's there's some where we have some names. Most
you know what?
No.
That's Tuscola.
Looks like out at Woods.
Yeah, I wonder if it's at Woods.
Yeah, it looks like it.
It's kind of a wooded area. And so I have some names on this one.
Well, that looks like over to the left. That's a Weber, it looks like, isn't it?
I really can't tell.
Yeah, that's the Webers. Here's Jim Weber, and that's his older brother. Are those the Webers?
Toppy Moody says, looks like Sadie and Jack Beasley with Al Weber and part of his family.
Yeah, that's the Webers had 3 boys.
Chubb Connor says, you are correct.
I think that's Mike Weber's the small one. And the oldest one, he was in the military.
Carroll Hausman concurs. And Bonnie Christman says, is that Pat Weber on the left?
I think it's Pat, yeah. And Mike Weber,
yes.
Mike Weber's class of 63, taught up at Michigan State and is in our Hall of Fame. Played football with Mike. That's Sadie Beasley right back in the middle.
Dark hair.
Dark hair with the light dress right next to Mike. And there's Jack Beasley. Mike Weber's framed. Mike Weber's framed on the right by Jack Beasley and on the left by Sadie.
Yeah.
Bob's.
Sadie worked at Carpenter's.
Bob Beasley's
in
parents.
The 60s. Mm-hmm. Bob's behind his dad.
I don't think Bob would have been about a couple of years older than Bob would have been class of 60, I think. Mike Weber 63. I don't think that's Bob.
Might not be.
Bob's back in
the jeans are cuffed. The typical 50s, mid 50s.
Yeah. Yeah, you can put your coins down there, collect frogs.
Yeah. Soda used to be real cold in those kind of tanks, but they're probably bobbing apples.
Looks like out of Patterson Springs.
You know what? It does look like Patterson Springs.
Across the street.
Do you have some names here?
Not on this one, no.
But that is, it looks like Patterson Springs.
Yeah, that's Patterson Springs, I think.
Big get together.
Sure is.
All those big oaks out there at Patterson Springs.
Oh boy.
We think that's where it's at. Might not be. Yeah, not getting any close-ups of people we know.
I bet it was good.
That was A.J. Wiggins's house they were at, by the way. Go back.
I was going to say that I've seen that.
Is that Ackman? That's not Ackman, is it?
Ackman Wiggin?
Cooking? I don't think so.
Possibly. Who knows?
He's a big guy.
He was a big man.
No, I don't remember from the 50s. There's a 57 station wagon Ford there. Okay.
Well, it couldn't have been a 57. The pictures are taken in 55.
I'll go back to it. That's 55 station wagon. That guy's hiding the fin there.
Yeah, that was
55
it.
didn't have a fin. 57 did.
That was it.
You can see this was a kind of a slow shutter speed. You got
Mary Carmack.
girl running through all blurred.
Sitting on the hammock to the left, the first closest to us looks like
Mary Carmack.
Mary Carmack. And they were friends with the Wigginses, I believe. Ted.
I love this picture. Look at this little girl.
That's cute.
No. She'll have frozen ankle disease.
She's climbing into the.
I'm telling you, that was cold soda.
There's a guy with a tie.
Yeah.
Hey, there's another Weber sitting there. Yeah, that's the oldest one on the right. We're in the way here. Let me get ourselves out of the way.
Long time ago.
Yeah. Mike, Pat, and who was the third Weber? I thought there was three of them.
And Stag beer.
You know what? There you go. Stag beer. They had a lot to drink there to get together, didn't
well,
they?
Tuscola was famously a dry town, and there was an explosion of private clubs like the Elks and the Moose and all kinds of places where you could legally drink, and so our private clubs just were full. Now they got to compete with all the gambling in taverns, so they're not quite as.
I'd like to know this little girl. She'd be about 60 now. 60 or 61.
Should be 61. Yeah, I can't quite tell from her hair. I don't think I dated her.
No. That'd be closer to my age.
Bowling.
Let's see if we can figure out who they are. Now
I know one of them.
That's Mrs. Kahn in the upper right, Marge Kahn. Benner, she was a Benner. That's your mom.
Tuscola ladies team champion. It's not my mom.
And your mom's in there, isn't she?
No.
Oh, on the right, that's Virginia Gobble.
Virginia
Gobble is her daughter's in my class.
And like I say, right above her is Ruth Benner. Used to be Ruth Kahn.
Ruth is my neighbor.
Lives next to Bill. What is she now, 90?
She just turned 90. Had a card celebration.
The Kahns live a long time. A lot of 100-year-old Kahns.
Well, both her parents were, I think,
Yeah.
over 100.
Who else do we know there? More names, David?
No, that's the only name I have. That's a really good picture.
High quality. Well, this looks like the Camargo Methodist Church.
Well, that's Elizabeth Van Voorst.
On the left, lower left, is our old music teacher back in. Well, look at the long hair she had.
Mm-hmm. That is her, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure looks like her.
Well, that bowling team said Country Charm Bowling Team, 1951. This one says Rural Course, December 7th, 1951.
Okay, that's Virgil Ross with the glasses in the middle row.
This picture was taken for the Gazette.
Okay. I think that's Virgil. Ross.
Maureen Deaver says she thinks Mrs. Van Voris leading the adult choir.
That's correct. Maureen.
David Kit Coy says, I recognize the man, number 6 from the left, as the late Horace Jean Snuffy Duffel of near Hinesboro. Now, David Wilson says Presbyterian Church. And I know there are a lot of Presbyterian Church pictures in this set. But
it's not your church.
Well, let me see if I see David's mother, who had the most beautiful voice, Virginia Wilson.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about the.
No. In the back?
I'm thinking that's Camargo's Methodist Church. Maybe not.
I don't know.
Look at those chairs. Did you have those chairs in your church?
No. I don't recognize where it is. I'm sure that some of these names would be familiar, though, if it's a countywide country.
We should know her.
You're thinking that's Margaret Wetzel. Yeah.
It's not.
Hackett, but it's not, I don't think. It looked like a happy human being.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had several shots of this, and there's one, she was laughing. And I thought, I'm going to use this one. I like that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Is that your wedding or?
That was my wedding. That was 50 years ago. I did not have hair then either. That was my first of 7 wives.
Well,
that's a cool picture there, David.
And she had 23 bridesmaids, and I had one guy stand up for me there in the back. Looks like Mr. Carter back there.
When you find out who it is, Mike, you might be a little surprised.
Well, give us an initial. I think we can figure that one out.
RC.
Crossman.
And that's a probable. There's 2 people that think it's RC.
Well, that looks like Ruby Caldwell, but that does not look, that looks like Ruby hold the bride, but that's not
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That they think that's Ruby Caldwell holding the flowers.
I wonder if that's her dad then. That's not RB, I'll tell you that.
No.
RB looked younger than that when he died in the 90s.
This is Order of Eastern Star installation.
Well, that's Ruby was in Eastern Star.
This is 19.
That's Viola
Flesser.
Right above that guy's head is Viola Flesser, Gus's daughter.
That's Gus's oldest daughter, David, right above the bald-headed guy.
Was that his only daughter?
Oh, no. Helen. You've got Helen.
Oh, Helen. I forgot about Helen.
Sophie was.
How can I forget Helen?
Daughter. Yeah. That's why. Wasn't she pretty? Is
that Mr. Marler?
I don't know. It looks familiar, but.
This is 1939.
1939. Wow. How neat.
The picture cut off this older lady. But yeah, 1939, Order of Eastern Star.
Now, did you find that, or did Joe send that to you?
No, it was in the stack.
Ruby was a beautiful gal. First Miss Tuscola.
Yeah.
Who was the guy? Oh, that's Marcia Truitt.
Yeah, that one we got.
Didn't have any names.
Marcia Williams married Kelly Williams. Lives here in Tuscola.
That's from 1963.
Brothers Troy. Lives here in town.
Here's a good one here.
Oh, yeah. I'd die for his hair. Look at that hair.
I don't know his first name, but looking at him, you might guess his last name.
Well, what's his initial last name?
H.
It's not Hadable.
No.
Humphrey?
H. I'm trying to think of farmers around here with.
Who does he look like?
Who does he look like?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That is a brother to Kenny Huber.
Kenny Huber's brother.
Yeah. That is Reno's
Huber.
That's Bill Huber's dad.
That's Bill Huber's dad.
Bill Huber's dad, Rudy's grandpa.
Renus Huber, Kenny's brother.
I'll be darned.
Isn't that a great picture?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No wonder Kenny became a barber, tried to tame his hair.
It's I just love this picture, and I knew with all the Hubers that are on this in this group of Remembering Tuscola on Facebook. By the way, we want to thank our sponsors, Trust Bank and Elite Builders. But this was, what's the date on this? 1944.
I've never seen a picture of Renus before.
That was one of the great comments on Facebook. Says, Gail Huber says, I heard Wayne talk about Uncle Renos, but had never seen a picture.
Yeah.
So it's nice that, some of these family members can see these pictures that they've never seen before.
You could tell he was a big, strong guy. See where Bill and Rudy come by their size.
1941.
Should we know him?
Says J.F. Gillespie and wife.
Well, I would have guessed wife.
Yeah.
Gillespie. Tuscolians. What was his first name, or did he have a first name?
No, he didn't.
He
just
Just initials.
Give us the initials here. We might know them.
JMF. Marine Diva got it.
She did?
Yeah.
Fullerton.
This is 1941, Mr. and Mrs. J.M. Fuller.
Oh, that's a nurse.
She used to bring
school nurse.
She would bring in grade school back in the 50s. She would come in for 20 minutes on teeth, and she'd bring in a set of teeth that were about 4 feet across, 3 foot across, about a foot high. And she could barely carry them. And then she had a brush about 5 foot long. And then she would take that brush and slide across the teeth. Say, here's how you brush your teeth.
1941.
And I said, well, I can't get that brush in my mouth.
Isn't that a great picture?
Yes, it is. It really is.
I love it. Negative is
all the same.
That's the negative. So you can see how big the negative is.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful picture.
5x7 negative.
Well, she had a little bit whiter hair by the time she came in.
She was, of course, she was a nurse at I think she ended up being like a county nurse or something. That's why Maureen would have recognized
her dad. She used to come to the old North Ward that was torn down where the Quentin Weber built those houses. The old North Ward.
The old North Ward. Yes. It looks familiar.
That does look familiar. He does look familiar. Should we know him, Dave?
1946. The initials are J.K.
Kellogg. Kearns, Kellogg.
This is John King.
Johnny King. Wound up from Rhodey King from Arcola fame. Well, King and Wills.
Married Rhodey.
King and Wills had the insurance company with Joe joined them later after he went to Milliken. I'd never seen a picture. I remember Johnny always has white hair.
White hair is what I remember.
Yeah. Bill, do you think there's a chance they won't recognize us later?
I think everyone would recognize us. Surely.
That looks like Mrs. Burns. Is that Dr. Robert Burns?
That is Mrs. Burns. Lucille Burns.
Lucille Burns.
Yep, 1944. You got that one?
Longtime teacher at Arcola.
Doc Burns was mayor, and he was a chiropractor. My dad used to go down there and get his bones broke. He was where Doc Davidson's Doc Cross's old dental office.
Remember the little brick house they lived on Overton, didn't they?
Right down there, the T intersection with Carroll.
Shout out to Bob Taylor. He got this one right.
Well, that's the first one he ever got right.
Yeah, we'll give Bob one.
Oh, not the first one he ever got right. He does.
Don't defend him.
Don't build him up, please.
Yeah, he's big enough the way it is.
We'll never hear the end of it.
Hey, Bob's another one of those unsung heroes.
Yes, he is. I'll give you that.
We've
Yeah,
done a lot.
But don't give him too much credit on these pictures now.
Yeah.
That's a different matter.
yeah, that's a different thing. We don't want to hear about all this coaching
Or Mitchner.
feats.
I don't want to hear about Mitchner getting any of them either. Glory hogs.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Michener this week, so I don't know if he's commented on any of these.
That Adams? Said Adams.
No.
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 This
No.
This one's not Tuscola. This one's Garrett.
Oh boy, I know Garrett people. Initials?
ED.
Oh, sure. I don't know who it is.
Eb Doty.
Eb Doty.
DOTY.
DOTY, 1945.
Guy here called whose last name was Doty called him Old Blue. He was the tree man. He cut tree limbs now.
You talking about Mr. Doty?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Blue, they called him.
Old Blue Doty. Yeah.
Old Blue Doty. He's in this picture, I bet.
And there he is with I assume his family.
That's called the Doty.
Family.
That's called the Doty family. And back behind there's the Doty kids.
And this is, they got the prices on these because these were old Pettit photos.
$30.
Envelopes. $13.12 in 1945.
Well, today that's
a couple $100.
What is that? 40 million today?
Couple hundred anyway. So.
Ooh, he looks familiar.
I think he kicked me out of grade school.
I'm just going to tell you, Chubb Connor got this one right.
Give us an initial.
FS.
Stinger.
Stinger. Dad to all the Stinger boys.
Mr. and Mrs. Frank Stinger, 1954. Of course, Chubb would have been in high school then. Probably.
Yes, he would have.
He graduated in 55. He'd been a junior.
Yeah.
Well, Bill and I hit that home run off Bill about then.
Something like that.
54, 55. Not to bring it up again.
Whoa.
Oh, that's Miss America.
Now, this is an interesting picture. We got a lot of comments on Facebook on this picture, but not her name. But I've got a name.
Give us initials.
I don't think you're going to know her.
You'd be surprised.
Let me look over the comments, make sure we don't have any other names.
Like a young Emily Barnes.
The initials are PG.
Pauline Goddard.
No.
Married Charlie Chaplin was a Hollywood actress. Paulette Goddard.
You said PG.
PG.
Who is it?
Well, it's 1941, and the name on the envelope is Patsy Gould, Gould. But in parentheses underneath the name, it says circus.
Well, Patsy ran off and joined the circus. I know.
Well, I'm wondering if the circus was in town. One of the circus performers stopped in and had their picture taken.
Oh, she tired. She tired of the suffocating small town life and wanted to see the big lights, the under the tent.
She has on a mink. Their mink stole.
Yeah. Well, that's a life mink, I think.
Well, I don't know if she was from Tuscola, but she had her picture taken here.
I still think it's Paulette Goddard.
But I wonder if it was any relation to the Gould bus service.
Well, there's all kinds of Goulds.
There's all kinds of Goulds. Wes Gould was a good-looking guy.
Bill and I shot a lot of pool with Wes and Roger Gould.
Roger and Jim
got killed in a car wreck at the Basilium intersection there, drove in the back of a truck, didn't they? Right underneath it, in fact.
They were building the interstate, and Roger and Wes were killed.
Took the top half of their car right off.
Pickup truck they were driving.
Father
Casey.
How you doing, Father?
James Casey. Man, he liked golf, and he liked to have a sip every now and then.
He was no stranger to the drink.
He was like Barry Fitzsimmons.
Barry Fitzsimmons. You know, that he was proof that God invented whiskey so the Irish wouldn't rule the world.
1957.
Yeah. Oh, the old press box.
Football field. Is that Gene Murray up there? I think Gene built that press box.
I don't think so.
Oh, I don't think so.
Dietrich.
That's Dietrich.
Dietrich on the right.
I do. That was like Paige Harris on the left.
Yeah, Rudy Huber said he thinks it's Paige Harris.
No pager.
Page worked at the lumber yard some, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, he worked for Tuscola Lumber down by the railroad tracks.
Yeah.
I do think Murray helped build the press box.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
Nice,
Bucko just yelled at him and gave him directions.
nice picture to have.
Yeah. Well, there's Tom Van Voris, I think.
It sure is.
Circuit clerk of Douglas County for many years.
Many years.
And his wife, Minerva.
1944.
Wow.
I made the Minerva up.
Did you? Because I didn't know her.
I didn't either. I knew Thomas.
Tom was
He was
friendly guy.
He was clerk when I was state attorney in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Had a lot of poses, a lot of negatives to choose from.
Yeah. Well, that's when the circus came to town. That's how
We know this guy.
we do know him.
Jiminy.
Jiminy Jones. Isn't that his name?
Oh, you know what? Come on.
We do know his name.
We do know that.
The guy with the cigar is Dave Porter.
Yeah.
This is
WDZ setting up for a big jam.
and the envelope says dance orchestras at homecoming, 1940.
Well, that's Guy Lumbago.
And then underneath it says Bernie, Herbie, Kay, etc.
That's Guy Lombardo.
So Herbie Kay may be a last name. So does Bernie and Herbie Kay mean anything to you?
No.
Well, we got several of these photos.
That looks like Harry Pate on the right, but it's probably not. Now that looks like that's what's her name? Just a second. Claudette Colbert. She came to Tuscola to sing. She was in famous actress, Cleopatra. It happened one night. Looks just like Claudette Colbert.
She looks like someone that is
Hollywood actress.
Professional. Yeah, she doesn't look like.
Yeah, that's Claudette Colbert.
She's all decked out.
I bet my Coke on
it.
Yeah, I gotta go back to that other picture. I've got some comments.
Okay.
And so Chubb Connor says J North question mark.
Yeah. That does look like J North on the right.
And then he asked Bonnie Crispin, do you remember the Johnny Crawford band? He says maybe Johnny Crawford.
No, I don't think so.
Well, then he misspelled Cranford. He meant Cranford.
Yeah, Johnny Cranford had quite a band.
Yeah.
And his daughter Sheila was in your class.
Yes. It was
no, Johnny Cranford had a locally renowned band.
It wasn't Sheila though. That's your
Cranford. What was her name?
Marcia
Cranford. I thought it was Sheila Cranford.
Yeah, good looking gal.
But that
could be.
Looks like J.R. North.
1940.
1940.
Wow. And that's Claudette Colbert.
I've got the feeling that these are celebrities they brought in, that woman and that guy with the cigar.
Yeah.
I really do think.
Well, that's
possible.
The guy with the cigar could have been Johnny Cranford. Mom talked about Johnny Cranford.
Here we got Alan Mishner weighing in on this one.
Oh
boy.
Here we go.
Well, Betty Crawford said she thinks the gentleman is Cal Razor. And Alan says maybe.
Looks a bit like Cal Razor.
Alan's not quite sure, but he says maybe.
Anybody got Claudette Colbert for the gal?
No.
I know she came to town one time.
Well, it could be.
Really?
No, I made that up.
Oh, okay.
I can't believe you believe me.
Well, sometimes I do.
Now, is that Johnny Cranford?
I see Johnny Cranford as a short, kind of balding.
Well, we all got that way. I mean, we used to look like that too, Bill.
Oh.
Annie Matthews says he thinks this guy looks like Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
Well, it was.
He did play the sax.
Yeah.
Now, if you back up, I think that's Bonnie Weatherford singing there.
I don't think so.
The shatter tones. There's her husband, Mr. Weatherford, on the keyboards.
Harold Weather. No,
Harold Weatherford.
no, this is 1940.
Was it
It's
Harold Weatherford?
1940.
What was the band's name in the 60s? Harold Weatherford.
I don't know. I forget.
Blue Notes. Bonnie sang with him.
I probably knew it one time. I've got an album of his.
Well, my mom graduated in 1940.
I'm telling you, these are big stars, and these are sisters. That's the Mayberry girls.
No, the McGuires.
The McGuires.
This is my mom's senior year, 1940.
I bet.
Maybe she's in one of these pictures.
Possibly.
Betty Boop was her nickname.
Well, it says homecoming July of 1940, so it was a summer thing.
It's a homecoming,
fall dance.
Yeah, well, they used to bring people back.
They did bring bands in. They did use
Yes, they did.
And that was the way you displayed the flag back then. Over that
all
guy.
wrapped up.
You wrap the flag as tight as you can hold. Well, no, that's a Douglas County guy. That's Adlai Stevenson.
Yeah.
This guy.
Well, they're all up on cocaine. You know,
just so our viewers know, when Mike doesn't know, he makes it up.
Yeah. Well, you know, you don't want dead airtime, David.
Yeah.
Dead airtime will kill your viewership. Oh, there we go. That's a classic. The guy on the left smoking, the guy on the right wants his cigar bad.
Yeah. Looks like he's also smoking a cigar. It's just been removed from the picture.
He's got what's called cigar envy. He's practicing.
Oh, goodness.
My mom may be in one of these photos.
They're dancing in the background. You know, usually a band, they used to have their signs on their drums or out front. They'd have which band it was. Well,
there you go.
Oh, that's a Presbyterian church.
Do you see Bill anywhere nearby?
1902. Isn't that neat picture? Wonderful.
For 1902, that's a good picture.
This picture was taken in 1951.
The block on the right by the stairs, that's what that said.
Too bad they couldn't save that church.
1951.
Beautiful church.
And that's from the south, looking to the north.
Would have cost a lot of money to save that, but you had it. You could have saved it.
No,
they got these little stained glass windows. That could have been that church.
You go back and sneak in there and sit kind of like in a cubby, and you know they couldn't.
And they got some over here. You're saying that earlier picture was not your church, though.
Oh, it's.
I mean, were those people with Miss Van Boris?
No, not Miss Van Boris.
Now, Bill, you ought to be sitting here.
Well, I probably was. They might have asked me to leave the room.
Yeah.
Well, it's 1951, so
I wasn't here yet.
Okay.
These guys are being good.
I assume
I'll
that in the basement.
we knew some of these kids.
Yeah. And these kids were about class of 65, 66. Who would have?
Same picture, but I zoomed in on the kids on this one. So
maybe Joyce Thomas is there. They went to the Presbyterian Church. She'd have been about 5 years old then.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a good picture of the church.
Well, Bill, your church does have these kind of chairs.
Well, you know what, though? That was really earlier than when I was there because we had benches.
Yeah, those chairs look like torture chairs.
I sang in the choir for a while.
Yeah, well, let's see a photo of it. Talk.
Talk.
Those look like the prom king and queen chairs, maybe, or something. It's pretty fancy.
Yeah.
And back here's where the jury sat.
Remember that big window on the south?
Yes.
I don't remember a curtain ever being on that window.
You never want to hide your light under a bushel. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there you go.
There's a great shot of a basement.
Same room before, just without the kids. Got a ping pong table.
Wonderful shot.
Okay.
That looks like my uncle. That looks like a Floyd McGuire, my uncle.
I was gonna say you are probably related to this guy.
Floyd McGuire, my mother's brother.
Be darned.
Nice guy.
I'd say he's got on his new bibs. Watch fob.
Yeah. Mom had 10 brothers. Mom's family had 10 brothers and sisters.
Wow.
She had a twin, Bobby, buried out next to Grandma and Grandpa, who died his freshman year. Great athlete, going to be a great athlete. Tackled into a bench freshman year in football and got appendicitis and died that night out in the country.
Oh.
Judd was her brother, who wound up being a great football player in 40 with 41 with Bill Huber and those guys. Wonderful family.
So we had another pose of him. Couldn't
Yeah.
decide which one to use, smiling or not smiling.
Well, he looked good. He looks just like it's like Terry Kelsey, his nephew. They look like Terry a little bit.
Looked like brand new overalls.
Annabelle's boy.
Oh, Terry. God.
And
Yeah,
that
brand new bibs.
Yeah.
1944.
Anybody
With-
guessing?
How
Yeah.
old would it be there? 1940?
Yeah, we had a lot of comments on had comments from Tim McGuire, Mickey McGuire,
Those
Dan
are all
Russell.
those are my cousins.
So
Huh.
all right.
Oh boy.
Whoa.
Another
Rocco
great
Nagurski.
picture.
Rocco Nagurski played for the Green Bay Packers.
Does someone know who this is?
Well, Chubb is close. Let me see what Daryl Ferris says.
Give us initials. Is that Floyd Barbie? His
You
dad.
are correct.
That's Floyd Barbie's dad.
No kidding.
Yeah. That's Floyd
Junior
Barbie's
Barbie.
Junior Barbie's dad.
Yeah.
Floyd.
Oh, man.
Chubb Connor had guessed Bill Barbie.
Well, that was across the street. That was his brother.
Daryl said, "I think you're right." He
That's-
said, "I think you're correct. Our uncle." So apparently, Daryl's related to the Barbies.
Daryl's related to the Barbies is correct.
Rather stern.
My family bought the Barbie house. My family lived at I was born at 402 North Niles, across from Brookside. And they eventually bought the Barbie house just to the south and tore it down and built the new house that I grew up in high school. And Daryl and Junior was across the street.
Well,
Junior
how is
Barbie.
Daryl related to the Barbies? Because I'm related to Daryl.
His mom.
I'll have to ask him. I'm related on his mom's side.
His mom.
Okay, hang on.
Now I've got every side of this house.
Well, give us the other sides.
That's one side. There's the back. There's the front.
Looks like Johnny Alexander's house out west of town. South of south of
plant.
USI on that drive-in road.
Who did you say?
Johnny Alexander.
This is 1951 Golden Landscape Charles Barrett home. Hume, Illinois. So it's not Tuscola.
Well, that looks like you.
Well, I think the Alexanders copied that house.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
No,
That's a fire. Something happened.
well, let's guess. Is this Tuscola?
1955 Elks Fire. I think it is.
That's where the community building was, isn't it? But that's the Opera House. No, that's
We got several pictures. There was a Ray Allen Real Estate office there. There's Tuscola Milk
A
Company.
Tuscola milk. I'll be
Yeah,
darned.
yeah.
Seal test.
that might be west of the community building.
So I've got several pictures.
Oh, wait, that's downtown.
Mhm.
There's the old car company. That's about where
I'm not sure.
Is that North Central Avenue?
Yeah, I don't know.
You're saying it's across from the depot?
Right. I guess West North Central Avenue, but I don't know.
Let us see another one.
December 25th, 1955. So a lot of Tuscola fires were on holidays.
55. Yes, it was. They were. B&M.
B&M Motor Company.
Is that Miller? Floyd Miller?
Well, they opened up down near the fire stations where Miller had a store. That's the back of it.
The back of it. Another picture of the front.
The back of it again.
There's the back again.
Well, that looks like
Those boxes are.
Beer.
Oh, one of those are milk crates from the milk company, maybe? I don't know.
empties. Those are empties.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, now we're looking. What direction are we looking now?
What's that building in the background? Is that the depot in the background?
Yeah.
Which one?
It's on north. It's North Central.
Elevator behind it. Fullerton elevator behind it.
I think so.
I think this may be near the community building.
I think you're right.
Somehow, I think it's downtown Tuscola.
You know where the old KFC was?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's there. This is in that area.
Some speculation that it's Atwood, but I don't think so with that Tuscola Milk Company sign. I think it's Tuscola, or it says Atwood Fireman there.
Go back to it. I mean, I didn't know if Atwood
I'd burn the whole town down.
Of course, you won't find a building in downtown. Oh, Atwood. Go back to that again.
With the milk company?
Yeah, I don't think that's Atwood.
No, it's got Tuscola Milk Company right there.
And Ray Allen was Tuscolian.
Yeah.
I imagine they had to call over the Atwood Fire Department to help.
Yeah, probably just had some mutual aid.
Yeah.
Now, have we determined where this was?
I'm thinking it's North Central Avenue, but don't know.
Do you have the depot back there? One of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't recognize the buildings, but.
And you said that was on Christmas Day?
Well, the pictures were taken Christmas Day. It looks like the fire was probably during the day, so yeah.
It could be on the south side of Main Street, but I don't. Or the north side of Main Street.
Yeah.
Have I got the both sides?
Both sides.
I got it both
sides. We had an angle. We need another angle.
You need another angle, David, Bill says.
Whoa. We got all kinds of angles.
Well, but not the right angle.
At the back of the building.
Do you have a street sign anywhere?
Do you have an address?
Do you have an address?
No address.
I'm guessing that's near the community building. And
I'm trying to think what would be there now, because downtown, most of the old buildings are still there, or we at least know the old ones that are no longer there. We know what they were.
I know the opera building used to be where the community building was, and it burned down. Right. And I think they built some stuff up. I don't know. This could be around the corner. As you turn the corner there was a fire on the west side, and then there was a fire back on the corner.
Senior Citizens now.
Yeah, Senior Citizens corner.
Well, pool hall.
I'm going to guess this was facing North Central.
Well, that was our original guess.
But I could be wrong.
No, I think you're right.
But whether it's, I'm looking up there at the Corbels, whether it's east or west of the community building, it could be west, it could be east of the community building.
Well, if
you know what? There's no, remember the steps and everything, even years ago, was built up.
Yeah, the parking meters and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So are you thinking maybe this is Park Street or Sale Street?
Could be Park.
Well, it was on the alley. So it's hard to tell.
Well, Michener or Taylor ought to know.
That's Villa Grove Fire Department.
Well, this says TFD.
Oh, that's Tuscola.
There's a guy smoking a cigarette at a fire.
Well,
Let's see
it's
if it's out on
unnerving.
the window. Maybe. Well, I don't know.
I like the cigarette theory better. It's more dramatic.
Could be.
Firemen didn't have all the clothing they do now.
Well, there's also no big ladders up in the air.
Interesting pictures though, and I'll bet this was 1951. I'll bet a lot of these pictures haven't been seen since then.
Look at the street lighting. Did you see the street lighting on the post there? Look at that.
Yeah. That's first class, wasn't it?
Doesn't get any better. That guy in the mustache, was that Doc McNeil?
This picture says Farm Bureau, 1949.
And all the farmers are wearing suits. And they're most of them smoking. A lot of smoking.
A lot of smoking.
Guy on the end.
Was that, who's this right here?
Oh, you think it's Boyd? No.
No. Cross between Gus and Boyd. Oh, there's Mr.
Oh, Armand Bear.
Armand Bear.
Armand Bear right here.
Right there.
Armand Bear.
Yeah.
That WA.
Right here.
Yay.
WA, right?
Could be WA.
And this guy, I know we know him.
I do. I know. It's just hard to pull it out of your hat.
I want to say McNeil.
That's Tack Green.
That is the big guy.
On the end is Tack Green.
Big old Tack.
Right here.
Yeah. He's looking that guy over.
He's sizing him up. Going to take a 21D.
There's Harry Pate.
Harry Pate. Second from left is Judge Harry Pate.
This is a big man.
That's big man.
That's big man. That's his name.
Size guy.
Jump center for Hinesboro High. Got any other names?
That's not Green,
No.
is it?
No.
No, but it was in with the Farm Bureau pictures.
Yeah. Oh boy. Is that upstairs, the Hotel Douglas?
No, but these are pictures I've not seen or knew anything about. This was Martin Nursing Home.
Oh, that's
Oh
on
my goodness, Daggy Street.
Daggy Street, one block.
Got a lot of pictures. There's even a patient in the bed there.
One block east of Main Street.
The driver's station. Go back
to the block where there's a
apartment house.
Apartment house called Hill Apartments, I think. Chris.
Yeah, that's where the
little
Martin Nursing Home was.
2-story White House. I think Bob Hastings, when he was one of the part-time auxiliary police, tried to get you and Greg to raid that place, didn't you?
Yes, he did.
You want Bill to tell you that story, David?
Sure.
Probably not best for public consumption right now.
And Greg Skinner and Bill Englehardt in high school were tried solicited by Bob Hastings as part of the auxiliary police to raid the Martin home.
Don't worry, I'll be right behind you.
We'll tell you about that someday, David. Greg was always approached to raid something.
Yeah, he would do it.
Yeah. You would go with him though.
Yeah, well,
that's why you wound up having to go to
I had a house on Houghton Street that had the same tub and toilet with the
the old claw.
Yeah, they passed it around.
Legs.
modern kitchen. And this is 1949.
They'll get any better than that.
Got the old knickknacks up there, and
Yeah. Look at that wallpaper.
got a
If you were crazy before you went there, you were crazy once you saw the wallpaper.
Once you saw the
Hanover,
wall.
Oregon. Doilies on the couch.
Yeah. And there he is. There's Greg busting in with Bob.
I don't know who that is.
Well, Mike Martin,
Mikey Martin.
how much older was he than us?
Mike Martin, probably in the 50s, mid 50s.
I'll bet that's him.
What year's the photo?
49.
1949.
Mike wound up being a chef at had that out where the actually is where my Ann had the little shop on the prairie. That 2-story house used to be the White House. It was a restaurant. Mike Martin ran it back in
the day,
in the early 60s. Really good restaurant, the White House. Mike Martin married Roscoe and Opal Humphrey's daughter. That could be Michael. Chubb ought to know him. Did Chubb know him?
No, I'm reading some of the comments on one of the pictures. Marine Deaver Purcell says, excited to find out about this place. Something wallpaper and linoleum, modern kitchen with an island, saw a wheelchair. Was this a rooming house? No, it was a nursing home.
Yeah, it was a nursing home.
And Janet Hall says her grandmother lived there for a few years.
Old Benny lived there.
There's Mike again. Well, we're guessing that's Mike Martin when he was
I wish I had that radio.
9 years old.
Yeah, the radio is probably fairly new.
Tora. That's a Japanese radio. Tora.
I can't remember. Teletone, maybe. One of the interesting things I thought is, this could be a kid today. T-shirt. I mean, it looks just like, I guess we haven't changed much in
well, this was 51.
70 years, 75 years ago.
Yeah.
Old Benny was in the nursing home there, but there was one during our high school years. The most famous character was Billy Kappas.
Oh, Billy.
Remember?
Sat on the little wagon down there.
Sat down the wagon.
Right where the fire department.
Tell what newspaper that is.
Ambulance is.
Probably a journal. Could be a review, I guess. There's another picture, and you can read the calendar. August 1949.
Well, if Mike Martin's about a 55 guy, so that could be him. 55 grad.
Yeah, that's what you call a modern fire escape.
Yeah, they like 2-story nursing homes.
Yeah.
Easy to get up, get them down. No elevators either.
I think I've got the same dresser, serpentine dresser.
Yeah.
Nice staircase.
Always, well, it's always good to have a staircase for people in a nursing home.
Well, you can run up and down them.
Jeez.
There's your modern kitchen.
Got a timer on the stove.
Electric stove, oven, got a little island here. More knickknacks. That fan is going.
Well, yeah, the air wasn't invented until 1978 in the Carroll household.
In the Carroll household. I don't know. We had a double fan. I thought that was really uptown.
Well, we're going to need fans again, I'll tell you.
You start looking at these pictures, you see lots of little interesting things. There's the house.
Yeah.
And that's 1 block east of driver's license station on Daggy. And there's a little apartment complex there, maybe a 3-4 unit one.
But this house is no longer standing, is what you're saying?
Oh, it's been gone a long time.
I think Chris Hill bought that and built this federal housing, HUD housing.
I thought this was interesting. You put your gutter in the middle of the house and then have it pour onto the wall.
Yeah,
It drains real well that
yeah,
way.
Yeah,
yeah,
you can see what it did to the paint.
yeah.
Well, they were going to paint it shortly.
We didn't know everything back then, David.
There's your fire escape.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you just threw them down, rolled them down like a ball.
Another bathroom.
Handicap accessible.
Well, there's the brand new high school.
That's a brand new high school, Tuscola.
They
Now,
moved into it 59, I
well,
think.
these pictures were 62, and it says speculation, not build. So apparently they just took these pictures hoping somebody would buy them. So these pictures may never been seen before. You can see East Prairie was a cornfield.
Yeah,
Actually, it was a swamp.
yeah,
Mhm.
Old water tower right up.
yeah.
That's a great picture.
Yeah, I got the old water tower in the background.
It doesn't have all the air conditioners on top of it.
Mm-mm.
Another angle. So you can see the north parking lot, what it looked like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that school had been open in what year is this?
62, he said.
62,
My
September
freshman year.
27th.
I was a freshman in the building that year.
Now we had this picture before,
Right.
but before we had
That's Gene Miller. That's a different picture though, because before you had Bob Caldwell in the middle in the first row. Orson Moorhead, Manwaring. There's Bob Caldwell. Burke Manwaring.
Bob Caldwell.
And it looks like Clyde Caldwell, or there used to be a Calvin Caldwell, I think.
the picture we had before was a picture of a picture, and this week I found the original negative.
And on the bottom right is Boyd Wiesner.
Boyd Wiesner. We can't see that.
I'll have to get rid of this for you.
I think we know who it is too.
Oh, that looks like
Was that Pollock? No, I don't know.
no, I don't know who that is.
Like how all the
Here's that guy we were talking about, Mike.
With the mustache.
Yeah.
You got names, David?
well, let me see.
Joe should know all of them.
I thought Joe said the big tall fellow next to Bob was his nephew or
Well, I
something.
think he played football with Bill Huber and those guys, that great 41 team. I think that was it was a Caldwell guy.
Sue Wetzel Gavin says Ed Wetzel, top row right. Bottom Wiesner, bottom row right. And Joe Caldwell says he thought he had the names in the back, but he doesn't. He says top left, Orson Moorhead, question mark, R.B. Caldwell, his nephew, Odie Caldwell, question mark, bottom row, question mark, Frank Caldwell, another son of my uncle,
Well, this was Frank.
Uncle George, my dad's nephew, but close to the same age. Frank was killed in World War II when Germans torpedoed a troop ship off English Channel, killing hundreds of soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Boyd Wiesner. And so that's the
Look at the sponsors' names. Matinee Store, Lovely. I don't know what that is. Carpenter's Clothing, Fuller. I don't know if it's Fuller Brushes. Who knows? Williams Grocery.
former attorney.
Oh, it says Williams for sheriff.
Oh, Bruce ran for sheriff.
Yeah.
Bruce was sheriff for a while.
Fuller's an attorney.
All right. Jones Ice Cream.
H. Ray Warren. Cooch, Dale Cooch.
Cooch Brothers. Barbers. Cooch. Fred Cooch was a barber at the hotel. One time, what's Dewey?
Dewey Taylor.
Taylor. Baldwin's Cafe.
Baldwin's.
That was down by the community building, I think, at one time. Texaco Service. How neat.
That's a cool picture.
Gene Miller.
Gene Miller.
Longtime sheriff of Douglas County, and then
County treasurer.
Back in those, then he'd go for treasurer and then go back to be sheriff.
Yeah.
Very popular.
Yeah, sure was.
We know him.
Can't tell you.
Can I tell you a Gene Miller story real quick?
Sure. We'll go back to Gene.
So I was state's attorney in the 70s and he was sheriff, and Nell Gilpin, the court reporter, called me over and said, I told you this story. I'm tired of this. I drive from Newman every day, and outside Tuscola out by Powder Springs, there's these two horses. They're on ropes. They're wrapped around a tree, and they can't get down to the grass. They're going to starve to death. Nobody's taking care of it. So I called Gene and told him, Gene said, I'll take care of it. So he called me that afternoon. So I took care of it. I said, what'd you do? He said, don't ask. I took care of it. So a couple of days went by, and Nell said, I thought he was going to take care of those horses. I said, I did. He says, I drove by today. They're still there. So Gene went and took them and gave them to his brother, but he gave him two other horses somewhere. Back in those days, that was the way we did justice.
Yeah.
Now we know that guy. Initials?
PK. 1962. Lived on Van Allen. 803 East Van Allen. Phil Kennedy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I thought I said EK.
No, PK.
Oh, PK.
Now, was he a mortician?
I don't think so. He lived down there's Mr.
That's Marlar.
Mr. Marlar. Frank Marlar.
Frank Marlar is, and I don't know why, but I recognize this because Frank Marlar, this was 1966. I wasn't quite 2 years old when this picture was taken, but I guess I'd seen his picture enough that I knew who it was.
Nice guy.
1966.
Yep.
Bill was a senior.
I graduated from high school.
Well, you weren't quite out of it yet. Till the spring.
Well, it took me a while.
Took you a while.
November 5th, 1966.
You're on your way to
reform. I was gone by then, November 5th.
You're in reform school.
They'd locked me up already.
Bill was in military school then.
Oh, he's a doctor, isn't he?
Initials?
BM, and I'll tell you, Chubb Connor got it right.
Burl Mills.
Burl Mills. But see, we think of Burl Mills with white hair.
Yeah.
And I was close, a doctor.
Well, pharmacist, doctor, what's the difference?
Mills Pharmacy. The year was 1944.
Wow.
Oh, boy. Well, Chubb's 10 years older than us. He ought to be getting
this. He should get them, some of them. I don't know.
This picture says it was taken for the Chicago Daily News.
Why?
I don't know. It says George Erb, district manager. And let's see, over on the back. Oh, it just has the address for the Chicago Daily News. I don't know why it was taken for the Chicago Daily News, but it was.
Father, son.
The year is 1939. J.C. and Son. I'll give you a hint. He was a doctor.
J what? C?
Mm-hmm.
Con.
Nope. Dr. John Clutcher and Son.
Oh, Clutcher.
Oh, Clutcher. He was from Golconda.
Yeah, Clutcher's office was, where Joe's Pizza is. It was down the block on the alley where your daughter-in-law had a shop, right next to City Hall.
He was, they still have a Clutcher scholarship here.
Yeah, my aunt, Annabelle worked for him for a long time. Really liked him.
And you can see how thin that negative was.
Hmm.
So
How did you tease the colors out of it?
magic of Photoshop.
Really? Just filled it in?
You're amazing, David.
No, it's just, I mean, it came out a lot better than I expected it to. And
Dr. Kletcher was the one that my sister went into a coma when she was 6, 7 years old, and nobody knew what was going on. And Kletcher diagnosed her, saved her life.
well, you can see with that thin negative, I'll show the picture again. Anything that's clear is going to turn black because it's a negative. So you can kind of see that, but it brought out a lot more detail in the picture than what I thought it would, judging from that negative.
Yeah, it looks like it's fully developed the way it should be.
Yeah, it take a little editing.
David, what over your shoulder? What do you got? A rolly camera there set on your cigar box?
It's a Kodak baffle camera.
Hmm.
I got a Rolly. I had the Rolly up there one day.
What's the negative on that one? 4x5,
I don't think it's that big.
3x4.
Probably 3x4.
Good pictures.
I've never used that camera, but yeah.
Well, those out of the past photos are fantastic. I can't believe the quality of them. Of course, like you say, they had you talk about a full format camera. They've got such a huge negative.
So these are the ones I didn't get to for this week, and now I got another stack after this one.
Well, those are priceless, David.
We're looking forward to
those
it.
have never seen the light of day.
Yep, those are some rare photos. Like those fire photos. I don't think anyone's seen those fire photos.
Well, we can't figure out where the building is. And we've lived here for 130 years.
Hmm.
I know there are a lot of fires. I mean, the big fire was 1870 or something. The whole downtown burned, I think.
But you know, the Strand Theater burned on a holiday, and I think the Hotel Douglas burned on a holiday.
Yeah, Halloween.
Well, Christmas wasn't Christmas Day for the Strand.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Christmas Day for the Elks.
Where were you when the Strand burned?
Well, most holidays I'm out starting fires.
We have solved Tuscola's greatest mystery.
Well, don't you think I created some historical moments for everybody, though? Seriously.
Yeah. So what's the statute of limitation on arson, Judge? It's
There's none, I don't think.
no.
I was home from college, and most of my classmates, I stood on the steps of the Hotel Douglas
Well, you were with me.
with you.
Well,
Did
I
we
was
have
with Jane Furco.
Who'd I have? Anybody?
No, you were single.
I'll tell you what. You were always the Beau Brummel, the lover. You know,
What year did the hotel burn?
66 or 7.
7.
Oh, it had to have been after that because I remember it. I can
Oh.
67 then.
67 then. Here's
I thought it was more like early 70s.
Oh, no.
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 The Hotel Douglas?
Hotel Douglas was 70, 73 or 4.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Oh,
remember.
that was about 75 or 6.
Yeah.
That was Halloween. Honestly, driving down Main Street going north, and there was activity and we saw it, and I looked down the alley between Gus's and what's now the township office, and that big transformer on a pole blew up. And we went on down, and they starting to rope off the street and everything, and it was on fire. And we stood on the
Hotel
barbershop steps, yeah, and watched it.
Why'd you have Jane? I didn't have anybody.
Well, you should have come over. You could have.
Maybe all the girls were on campus when I was there.
Probably.
Maybe
Yeah.
because by then they knew you.
Well, that's always been a problem, David.
Yeah.
I can always get in the door, but then I always get shoved back out pretty quick.
I didn't have a lot of dates. I counted on my looks and my personality to keep that from happening.
Yeah.
Good idea. Yeah.
Well, I remember one time I went to pick up a girl. I think it was Tamara Neal. And her mom yelled, when I opened the door, her mom looked at me and yelled out to Tamara, "Tamara, Mr. Tall, Dark, and Tall is here.
She forgot that handsome part.
Oh, I don't think she forgot
Tall,
it.
dark, and handsome. You got to take her out. I wouldn't.
Tammy was
take
great.
her out.
Tammy was a great gal. Smart as a whip. Good looking.
Who's the
Holy-
love of Mike? Who's the love of your life?
Oh, it's
Oh,
got to be.
geez, here we go.
Got to be Becky Kegley now that I think about it.
You've been straightened out on that.
I've been straightened out like a 2x4 plank.
It's taken me about 2 years to knock that through his head.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've got a gift with women.
Yeah, you could call it that.
I don't know what it is.
It's one of those gifts that gets returned.
That's right. Well, greatest thing God made was women.
David, I enjoyed it.
All right.
David, I think once again, and I'm serious, David. I'm not kidding now. I think it's absolutely wonderful that you're transcribing all of these old negatives into digital format for everybody to see. I assume your Facebook program, I know this program isn't watched by very much, but when you originally post these, I assume you're getting an awful lot of reaction to some of it.
A ton. We get more on this program than you might realize. We average over 100 anyway.
Yeah.
And so for
well, that's all my cousins.
Yeah.
That's my cousins.
Your cousins on Facebook.
Yeah. Hello to Tim and Tom and Mickey Joe.
All right.
Rest of it.
Are we done?
We're finished.
David, we do appreciate it. Thanks for letting us be involved in this thing. And don't ever let Mitchell or Taylor on because they'll steal our thunder. They'll get them right.
We should get it. I think we should get them and Chubb on.
You know what?
Keep those guys in the cheap seats.
Hey, they would like that.
Yeah, you ought to get Chubb and Taylor and Mitchell and just give Bill and I a break here. We like to maybe go play golf in Scotland or something for a month.
Well, we can all be on at the same time. So anyway, I want to thank our sponsors again, Trust Bank and Elite Builders, for making this possible.
True.
All right, we'll see you next week.
Thank you.